Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. It is officially the week that the Premier League season begins again. Our Chelsea play on Sunday at Goodison Park away at Frank Lampard's Everton. I'm not going to lie, as I sit here on Monday morning, just had let's say like a 10-day, 2-week holiday, like an actual holiday. Went and explored, went and adventured. It was absolutely beautiful. But I sit here now with only a few days to go until the beginning of the season, and Chelsea, at this moment in time, we certainly haven't won the transfer window. We certainly haven't made bad signings, but in terms of the actual numbers of players coming in, we're not quite there yet in terms of being ready with 6 days to go until our opening match to say that we've got a squad ready to compete. However, the guys over on the Last Fan Standing, I wasn't on it last week, it was one of my weeks off, and there is an argument that Tottenham have won the transfer window. If you know Flav, he's a Spurs fan, he's the host of the show. You've also got Boovy and Pajak in there talking about how Richarlison isn't worth 60 million, he doesn't score enough goals.
And Richarlison for 60 mil.
He's rubbish.
52.2.
He's absolutely pathetic.
He's
Absolutely
terrible.
useless.
He's got.
So Pajak, this is
He's got a lower.
You can't
sorry.
bring in your agenda about Richarlison into this conversation.
I've got no agenda about him other than I've watched him
course you do.
really closely over the last few years and he doesn't score many goals.
So as much as Flav may believe that Tottenham have in fact won the transfer window, as we're going to go into a story Chelsea related about a Spurs player, in this video, Chelsea could easily win the window by signing Spurs' main man. And is it that unfeasible? We're going to discuss that in today's video, but the link to the Last Fan Standing episode is in the description. You guys should go and check it out. But we begin by talking about our third signing of the transfer window. One to be excited about for the future, absolutely for sure. Gabriel Slonina plays for Chicago. He's very, very young. Chelsea have signed him for $15 million. When we look at the next story afterwards about Kepa being wanted by Napoli, Chelsea are looking to offload Kepa to restore the market value so that when we look at what we spent on Kepa doesn't want to be a number 2 forever. Mendy's clearly number 1. A loan move to a team like Napoli, playing top-level Italian football, Champions League, would mean that if he has a good season, Chelsea's potential of selling Kepa to get at least something back of a reasonable amount compared to what we paid, it makes a lot of sense. But Slonina, the way this is going to work, we've signed him, it's all confirmed, it's here we go, it's done. We're going to loan him back to Chicago so that he can finish the season in the MLS, and then he comes back to Chelsea in January. Does this mean, if Kepa leaves, that we're going to be just left with Edouard Mendy and Marcus Bettinelli, and also academy goalkeepers? It could well be that case. However, this is very risky. Chelsea, if Kepa does go, do we have a backup that we seriously trust as a leader in goal if something was to happen to Mendy? This one worries me a little bit. If Edouard Mendy's obviously the number 1, Kepa's going to leave, Slonina coming in, very good goalkeeper already, but it is a signing for the future. If he's going back to Chicago till January, then it does concern me a little bit about will we go out and buy another goalkeeper? Does this mean that the Slonina signing and his potential could just leave us looking at a resale value in a couple of years? I don't think this is going to be the case, but we've just got to keep our fingers firmly crossed that Edouard Mendy doesn't get injured if Kepa to Napoli is going to go ahead. At the moment, it looks as though there are some legs behind this one. Kepa obviously has been happy at Chelsea. I think as fans, we were very disappointed after you spend 72 million on a goalkeeper and he makes this kind of high-profile mistakes that he was making. Since Mendy came in, I think it's actually made Kepa a better goalkeeper. I think when we've seen him play, he's not only done very well, but it's given him a mentality where players that come in for those kind of big fees, where we were talking about massive potential when we signed him from Bilbao. When he lost his spot, he didn't complain. Yes, there was the incident with Sarri in the cup final, whichever side of the fence you sit on regarding who was to blame for that one. Should he have done it? Should he not have? Kepa's been consummate professional, and I think he deserves a loan move to a club like Napoli where he's going to be playing top-level football. And hopefully, whatever resale value we get as a result of hopefully Kepa having a good season, Chelsea can rectify what has probably gone down as some of our worst business. I know that the Lukaku story certainly tops Kepa Arrizabalaga at 72 mil, but Slonina's come in, very excited about this keeper. Very, very young, seen a lot of videos of him. Again, don't have all the time in the world to watch MLS football, but I've seen that he's a very, very solid goalkeeper. Super young. He's coming in, and in January, maybe he comes in as the number 2. We move into story number 3. Timo Werner, a player who Thomas Tuchel criticised some of Werner's comments made earlier in this window, earlier during pre-season, where Timo Werner made it pretty clear that he wants to be playing, he's not necessarily happy, he's not really been the signing that we wanted him to be. Yes, he does work incredibly hard, but however, when Chelsea want to be competing at the top level, you've got the Haaland versus Darwin Núñez debate, which is already 1-0 now to Darwin Núñez after he scores for Liverpool in the Community Shield. Timo Werner is not that level of striker for Chelsea. He's been used on the left wing predominantly. So with Timo Werner wanted again by RB Leipzig, Werner wants out. I've seen links also to Newcastle. I think wherever Werner goes from here, I think he's going to begin to start showing the levels that we saw before. At Chelsea, there is an onus on players that are brought in to score goals as strikers to consistently do that at the top level, the way that Diego Costa did under Antonio Conte, the way that Didier Drogba did, specifically that one season, 29 goals under Ancelotti. Chelsea wanted Werner to be that guy. And yes, he is a brilliant personality in the dressing room. Yes, he gets on well with everybody. Yes, he's funny. Yes, he makes good runs. Yes, he has scored a few goals and been incredibly unlucky. However, I think this story is probably got some legs to it. I can see Timo Werner leaving, and I do think it would be best for both Chelsea and Timo to kind of let this one pass. I love Timo Werner. I would love to see him succeed, but if a player wants out, this is the easiest way that dressing rooms can become conflicted, and seasons, if they don't start well and you've got players that want to leave, it's a recipe for disaster. We've seen it with Chelsea. We have seen it with other clubs as well. Chelsea this season have got to be careful. It's going to be so competitive, and if we don't start well and there are players in the dressing room who do want to leave, then I think we need to be working on letting these guys go. As we move on to the story, after the next story, you'll see that there could well be some magic to happen for Chelsea in this window regarding strikers. Werner to Leipzig. Leipzig want it as a loan with an option to buy. Let's see how this one plays out. We have been linked heavily in the last few days to Wesley Fofana. Leicester City want 80 to 85 million pounds for Wesley Fofana, which is outrageous money. However, two things to think about here. Fofana, injury worries, that's the problem. Second thing, when he's fit, he's an absolutely sensational defender. I think he could be one of the best in the Premier League, particularly if he's lining up alongside Thiago Silva and Kalidou Koulibaly. There are really not two better experienced defenders to make Wesley Fofana fulfill the potential that he has, let alone the influence of a brilliant defensive tactician in Thomas Tuchel. Wesley Fofana wanted by Chelsea. Leicester know Chelsea's situation. Leicester know that Chelsea are desperate to sign centre-backs. We've been linked with Fofana months ago. I would absolutely love to see this one happen. My only concern is that price point makes any other potential signing in the position, or maybe as a striker, if we still want to replace what Rafinha was going to bring to us, 80 million is a bit of a joke. It makes things very difficult. If Chelsea can't offload players on permanent deals, and we're just talking about Werner loans, maybe Ziyech goes, but we're not talking massive money. If Hakim Ziyech was to go, it's about 25 mil. We're also linked with Benjamin Pavard. Bayern Munich have said that they will be willing to listen to a Chelsea offer for Pavard if we are to come knocking on the door. This is coming from Christian Falk. He's a German reporter. When we looked at Jules Koundé before we lost him to Barcelona, still not over that. I'm fuming about what Barcelona have done. Even when I'm on bloody holiday, I'm getting pissed off with Barcelona. Seeing them steal players, seeing them still sign players, but not paying their own players. I'm not over it. Benjamin Pavard, I think, would be a very good signing for us. Can play right back, right wing back. Could also probably be used in the right centre-back position. Reece James, phenomenal wing back. Pavard as well. That is certainly his best position. But at this point, it's versatility. If we need backup in the right wing back position, then Pavard can be that guy. Trevor Chalobah was used a lot last season. I absolutely trust the guy. So if Pavard comes in for right centre-back, then Chalobah just fills in. I think that's a really smart signing for Chelsea. I think between Fofana and Pavard, I think Fofana being Premier League proven already, so much potential with this player. I'd probably prefer it, but if Bayern are willing to listen to offers, then I think we could probably get Pavard for something significantly less than what Leicester City are asking for. We move into the final story that I want to discuss today. It comes from Christian Falk again, speaking about Chelsea being interested in Harry Kane. The more that I see players like Timo Werner potentially being about to move, players wanting to leave in attacking positions, it leaves Chelsea so short. Raheem Sterling in the games against Udinese, really, really good in the false nine position. We know Kai Havertz can do that job as well. Hudson-Odoi also looked good the other day. We got Mason Mount, but the thing is, I feel as though Chelsea do still need to sign a striker. Harry Kane, if he's not going to sign a new Spurs deal, Tottenham might well be willing to listen to something. Will they want to sell him to Chelsea? No. And bringing it back to the points that we heard from the Bet Victor Last Fan Standing episode earlier about Spurs probably winning the window at this moment, 6 new signings. Yes, they've not proved anything yet. Yes, Richarlison for 60 million and his goal scoring record. Is that good enough? If Harry Kane was to leave Spurs and sign for Chelsea, Chelsea win the transfer window. Spurs go from being like probably the transfer window leaders right now. If Kane goes to Chelsea, Chelsea win the window because not only do we get the Tottenham captain, the best player in their team, maybe Heung-min Son you can argue, but Harry Kane will want to build up momentum going into the World Cup this November. If he signs for Chelsea, this for me wins Chelsea the transfer window. This puts Chelsea on a par with Man City and Liverpool as long as we do get that one more centre-back, maybe 2. I think Chelsea win the window. Whether another midfielder comes in or not, Kante looked brilliant against Udinese in that friendly. Harry Kane to Chelsea. Chelsea are interested. Spurs, reluctant to sell to a Premier League club, but Bayern Munich have said they will not be signing a striker in this window. This one at the moment is still very much in the air. The longer it goes without Chelsea buying players, the more I think Todd Boehly could be triggered to make that marquee move. Harry Kane is as marquee as it gets. Let me know your thoughts on the Harry Kane scenario in particular in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on Wesley Fofana, Benjamin Pavard. Are you happy about Gabriel Slonina being Chelsea's 3rd signing of the summer? One for the future, but still an exciting one nonetheless. Thank you guys for your patience. I know I didn't really say anything about taking a holiday. I usually do this at different times during the year. I just take a few days off. There are plenty of other Chelsea YouTubers around as well if I'm not posting content. And I'm not the kind of guy who wants to try and beat everybody, competition, all that stuff. I don't believe in that stuff. We're all Chelsea fans here. All of the other guys make fantastic content. So gonna leave this one here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to GBFC if you haven't already done so. Come on, you Blues.